committed no crime, said Volda Lawrence, the former health minister, who was charged today. Lawrence was released on $100,000 bail. To the roar of supporters, the chairman of the People's National Congress Reform, Volda Lawrence, showed up in the Georgetown Magistrates Court today. The former minister was charged and released on bail. Lawrence appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan, where private criminal charges were brought against her. Those charges were filed by Charles Ramson, who is now a government minister. Attorney at law Nigel Hughes, who is representing Lawrence, said the charges, which were filed as far back as March 16th, alleged that Lawrence procured Clement Mingo on March 5, 2020, to author a forged document to GCOM's CEO, Keith Lowenfield, via a Form 24.
Say that this charge was filed since March. Absolutely no attempt was made to serve this document to Ms. Lawrence. As a matter of fact, Ms. Lawrence, the only basis upon which she has appeared today was because last week when I was in court, I heard her name called and I notified her and she said I will come in immediately. So she voluntarily came to court today without any summons being served. We made an application for her to be released on her own bail, given the fact that she voluntarily came to court, she was the former Minister of Health, and that she is of good standing. The court placed her on $100,000 bail. Mr. Glenn Hanneman, who is appearing for Mr. Ramson in these proceedings, then informed the court that he has contacted the DPP and the DPP is going to take over these proceedings. Now, this is most unusual because in these circumstances, before the charge was even read to Ms. Lawrence, there clearly was an attempt by Mr. Hanneman to contact the DPP so that the DPP can then instruct the police to start an investigation. The assumption is when you have filed a charge, you have already gathered enough evidence upon which you could have filed the charge. So we're in a curious position in Ms. Lawrence's case. I'm sure you've heard about Mr. Lowenfield's case, but in that case where we wrote asking for the DPP to have a look at the files and determine whether there's enough evidence, what has now happened is the Director of Public Prosecutions has taken that file, clearly realized that they do not have enough evidence, and has now decided that she will instruct that an investigation be conducted. So we have a lot of rather unusual developments in both of these cases.
The former public health minister said this is another set of trumped-up charges.
I know personally that I have committed no crime. I have done absolutely nothing of what I'm accused of. I have been a citizen from the time I heard this morning this file was charged, who has been in public all the time. As a matter of fact, I worked right onto the Monday, the 3rd of August. I left the Ministry of Public Health compound at 3:30, and at no time was any matters brought to the ministry to present to me. I also was provided with 24-hour security by the government of Guyana at my residence in La Penitence, and nobody ever came there to file anything. So I just believe that this is a continuation of the circus that we will see under this regime, and we have to brace ourselves, and we have to be strong, and we have to stand up. I fear no foe with God sitting on the throne. I have committed no crime. It is not the first time I have been the returning officer, the agent for Region 4. It is not the first time that I have worked with elections and elections processes. And so all of a sudden, I've just finished 2 local government elections. And now this election here, still in Region 4, still concerned about Georgetown. That was my area. And here it is, all of a sudden we can have these trumped up charges against me. They're trumped up charges, they're fictitious, they're meant to incite and to lay blame and to humiliate, but I want to say that I am not going down.
Outside of the courthouse, scores of supporters gathered in support of Lawrence, who was also supported by members of the PNCR and other colleagues. The former minister then met with supporters who she updated on the developments in the court.
That we are in a battle. Yes. And we gotta fight, we gotta stick together.
Yes.
One by one. I want to thank each and every one of you for leaving your home. Coming out here this morning. But I want to tell you that God is leading.
The matter will be heard again on September 11th.